Hey everybody, Eric Schreiber here with Custom Fit 360. Well, I can't believe I just said that, but that's my company. So, for this week's discussion, or the second discussion, we're talking about probability sampling versus convenience sampling. And when reading the text and the articles, it's like, well, if probability sampling produces more representative results, then why wouldn't we just use that all the time? But the more I read, the more I realized that really isn't practical or feasible for everyone. And as I've started to develop my own dissertation proposal and read more dissertations, it becomes a little more apparent. And my research is centered around multimodality exercise and comparing it to a multimodality intervention to the current ACSM guidelines and community dwelling older adults. See, even there, I have to be very specific. In a perfect world, I would randomly recruit older adults from across the United States. My phone is going to die. Giving everyone an equal chance in participating. But that would improve the representativeness of my sample. But that's not realistic, right? Recruiting participants all over the world or nation requires a lot of funding, research sites, investigators, support, and a lot of time that I know that myself, as a business owner of multiple locations, 3 kids, just an extraordinarily busy life, can't do. Instead, a more realistic approach would be recruiting from places that I have access to, which is Custom Fit 360. I said that earlier in the video because that's the company that I own. I own a Custom Fit 360. We work primarily with 55 plus older adults. I have access to them, and that'd be much more convenient sampling. So accessibility is probably the biggest reason that most of researchers choose convenient sampling, and it's so common in clinical research, right? Researchers can work in hospitals, or they work in PT settings, or they work in fitness centers like myself, or strength and conditioning settings and universities and things like that. So recruiting those individuals is much more practical and easy than to try to randomly grab from the entire population. There go my kids. See? Busy. So the second reason would be resources. Research costs money, right? It requires personnel, recruitment. As a business owner, I constantly have to be paying staff in order to leverage my own time, right? So the same thing applies in research, right? It's expensive. So convenience sampling would allow researchers to answer important clinical questions without requiring the resources needed. But that doesn't mean that there aren't limitations, right? So if I recruited all of my participants from Custom Fit 360, I would have to acknowledge that those individuals are probably already more physically active, more health conscious, and more motivated than the subset of the population that I'm trying to target in terms of whether or not the intervention works. So I couldn't automatically assume that my findings apply to every community dwelling older adult. And that introduces selection bias, which is something that I'm trying to think through right now, and limits the help me. It helps me it limits me from being able to generalize it to the general population. Did I get that right? So I don't necessarily think it weakens the study. I think it requires us to be a little bit more transparent about the limitations that we have through convenience sampling. So I could, I guess, recruit participants from multiple fitness facilities, senior centers, physician referrals, things like that, or PT clinics. And I could carefully describe my samples so readers understand exactly who participated in the study. But ultimately, I think that convenience sampling comes down to just practicality, feasibility, and it represents a balance between scientific rigor and practical application. So thank you, and I look forward to hearing everybody's feedback. Bye.